Good evening. Welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Eddie, Mr. Leeway, all hail the Kingpin.
Yeah, if I had a
Yeah.
nickel for every time I heard that.
Come on. I had to say
No,
it.
I know,
Come
but
on.
that's my line there. I had to say that too.
You do, because you know what though? I'm gonna tell you what. I don't usually fall for the cliche and whatever. And I don't know, maybe because I'm not as much in the loop of hearing a lot more of your peers. So I really haven't heard it a lot.
Yeah.
But it is the best line. All hail the Kingpin is like the best line. It should be like a brand. It's so good. So that's
When
to
you're
get
a
props on
street
that.
kid growing up in New York and you see how people, instead of being just an honest working man, just took angles from the streets
Yep.
to attain power and money. A lot of kids look up to that and then they fall into that path. So it was a very satirical line, you know
Right.
what I mean? Because I did write early on, especially in the first two albums, not so much like just about crime, but about the organized crime mentality, whether it was, uh, La Cosa Nostra, Mafia,
Hmm.
or street and drugs, like a drug kingpin, or even, hip hop uses the pimps.
That's what I think a lot of people see. Like, I think it's very you had a different angle coming in. So a lot of people coming in and like myself, like if I heard I'll hear the Kingpin as an introduction, it's fun because I've heard it on a different level.
Yeah.
To me, it's a different. I did not grow up in the same world that you grew up in. I did not grow up in the streets. So to me, I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. If someone says that every time I walk in a room for the rest of my life, yeah, it's fun. You have a different version of it, so to you it could be like, well, I get it, but whatever. So, you know,
It's
how about
true.
that? How about all hail the badass, Eddie? How about that? That'll be my new one for you then, okay? Because that's who you are to me. You're a badass. So
I appreciate that.
you are a strong man. We're gonna talk tonight about Eddie's got some stuff going on, and he's done many things. He's beaten many things in his life, and he's got a couple new things he's gonna beat up. But we're gonna start a little bit more in the beginning. Some of your struggles early on. Let's talk about a little bit like you into Leeway and some of the levels of that falling into addiction and stuff. Kind of set the base of some of the things you've already started to handle and beat.
Well, addiction really didn't start taking a hold of me until about 1989. Now, before then, I was a teenage kid. I liked to smoke weed, occasionally drink, and that's what we did on the weekends. We held down jobs. Weekends, we would break night and go to the city and A7 or other clubs, and or hang out in one of the local pubs on the Lower East Side and do our thing. And it slowly built into something else because the Lower East Side was one of 12 areas within the whole five boroughs in New York that provided and exploited the human condition and fulfilled the need of cocaine and heroin, crack, you know what I mean? And my thing, I think, turned into opiates and heroin simply because of my own inner insecurities and self-esteem issues. And when I started becoming a serious, full-blown addict into 1990 after touring with the Bad Brains in '89 for their Quickness tour, I started really going through a 7-year loss, 6-year loss, where I was pretty much caught up and caught out there most of the time. There may be breaks in between. Maybe I do 3 months without getting high, and then I go out one night and I have too many drinks, and it was only uh, too easy to go 2 blocks and pull $10 out of my pocket and start all over again.
Yeah.
And that's really what it did. And the more you get caught up with the drug, as you see people decline and age and fall apart, your inner strength to beat it and your mental strength starts to really deteriorate, and people just become weaker and weaker and weaker, where it's virtually impossible to get past this demon you're in. And look at people who got caught up in the first wave of crack cocaine. The addiction was probably more when they were on the drug, but once after being up for 3 days or less and crashing, you didn't have to wake up with withdrawal symptoms where you had these flu-like symptoms that made you have to rush out and go get more drugs just to balance yourself out and feel like a normal person. That's the battle with opiates and opioids is you need a certain amount and a certain dose 3-4 times a day just to feel like a human being, and it's a fine line because, you're not getting this from a pharmacy. You're getting it from a bag from some drug dealer who got the package from a bigger dealer and who got their drugs from a wholesaler.
Now,
You know what I mean? It's a fascinating course of how it reaches the streets, but it's a very devastating drug, and it's still prevalent today out in a lot of urban communities, and it's gotten worse with the pharmaceutical companies.
I guess the easy go to as well. He was in a band. There's drugs, and as you do bands, you're in a band, you do drugs. But you, like I said, you did it. You started afterwards. Just you're not so much focusing on the band situation, so but more on the path of addiction and how it kind of flowed through your music.
It's
When
boredom.
you first started, well, when you started though, like, were you a drinker at all? Like when before you were in Leeway, were you a partier? Did you like do weed and drink a little bit with the band?
I loved my weed. It wasn't really that much of a drinker. I really wasn't. And then, as I started getting involved with the music scene and, the nightlife, you look for certain things to get buzzed on to have a bigger enjoyment. You know what I mean? And then sometimes when you don't feel satisfied because you've been doing that for so long, you try something stronger. You try something, on some bullshit experimental trip to experience this and see what this is about. And that's what is about. And, opiates, like William S. Burroughs said, is like the great controller. People will crawl through a mile of rotted, effluvia in a sewer to get to that drug just to equalize themselves out and not feel sick.
Yeah.
Meaning withdrawal symptoms. And, I tried it in 86, but I never really pursued it until 89. I was making too much money working in clubs as a bartender, doing the shows, you know,
How did it play into like
girls, all those things. And when I first started up the courage to go get the drug from the drug spots myself, that's when the floodgates were open because like, oh, I could get this, I'm not going to get ripped off. I'm not going to get robbed. I'm not going to get beat down. I can handle this. So it starts happening to like once a month, once a week, twice a week. Within 5 months, you're taking the shit every day. And even if you're just sniffing it, after sniffing it for 60 to 90 days, what happened to me, I was sitting in a jail cell feeling drug withdrawals and realized, oh, you just got your first dope habit, Eddie. Congratulations. And then there was like a 6.5-year battle from there. Treatment started to work for me in 95. And not just being in a program and stuff like that, but we had to get to the root of the problem. Because if you're a drug addict, you do have mental health issues. That's where the beast really sits. You know what I mean? And every addict has to come to terms with their depression or their bipolar issues or even schizophrenics. You know what I mean? It's like those three main mental health issues seem to feast upon addiction in a huge way.
Yeah.
So, 95, I'm off the streets. I stopped putting needles in my arms to get that shit right in me and everything.
How did you survive at the time? Like, I never understood this. Like, so because you're in Leeway up until like 2 albums and you guys broke up, whatever. And you around the time you got into drugs with Bad Brains, that was probably like your last tour with Leeway, right?
I bounce out credit. You know what it's like? I get an apartment, first month's rent, first month's security, pay a month or two, or try to, and then bang out the apartment until I got evicted. You know, I'd hustle this, I'd hustle that. You know, whether I'd go to my record label at the time, rifle as many promos as I can, then go sell them at the local record store. Go see, excuse me, a friend of mine at Epic Records, rifle through all their shit, and then go and do that, or straight crime. You know, straight crime, and it was a battle for me because you know, as much as hardcore has crews and there's a gangster mystique in it, I never wanted my criminal life to be a part of who I was in my musical life. I always wanted both worlds separated. Like I told you before, my father was involved in organized crime. So I had an understanding of the life, being an Italian kid from an Italian father who, if he wasn't such a cowboy, could have been made in one of the five families in New York himself because he helped establish the modern day chop shop. He had a real career. He was a film editor for WOR TV, Channel 9, when they were in the Empire State Building before they went to Secaucus. But at night, you know what I mean? He did this other nefarious lifestyle. And, you know, addiction ran on both sides of my family. So, not being educated and aware of the pratfalls and the way New York for the last 100+ years has had an average of 250,000 addicts on the street since as far back as 1905, it was only a matter of time for someone like me and a lot of my friends to get caught in that downward spiral.
Mhm.
You know, so after the treatment started taking and I really wanted to get better and I started educating myself, I had a much better idea and what I needed to do and what I needed to battle instead of just being emotional all the time, wearing my heart on my sleeve, looking for a fucking excuse to relapse and go get high again. You know what I mean? Like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine last night who looked up to me. He was the drummer of Warzone with Rabies Barbieri and a bunch of the other guys. And, you know, it's like, I think of now, like the guys, I tried to say, do as I say, you know, do as I say, not as I do. But they, you know, it's like I introduced a lot of people into this dark life and, you know, the same way someone introduced me into this dark life that, you know, it's a shameful cross to bear, you know, because we all were in just a exciting part of our lives, but didn't know better. You know, it's almost like not paying attention because you're giggling with your friend, you step into the road and get hit by a car.
Mhm.
It's a little slower in the timeline. It's not just like immediate, you know what I mean? But it's almost the same shit because you
Right.
think you're having fun and you're just not looking both ways. And all of a sudden, you know,
Well, I don't think there's anything ashamed of because a lot of the reasons why you end up doing it is because of one reason or another, like you said.
you know, it's,
You know,
it's
and no one's
I
leading
wish
anybody
I
into
did
it.
better. That's really what
Yeah.
it is. Like, damn, I wish I never did that to this one. I
Of
wish
course.
that one didn't do
Right.
what I did because, you know, yeah, the kid wanted it, you know what I mean, or something. Uh, you know, if he didn't do it with me,
He would have known somebody else.
that's what it is. You know what I mean?
You know,
But you still feel horrible because you
no,
love.
I get that. I know. I'm just telling you as an outsider to be like, you know what? It's not to push it off. Like a lot of people at that time, and that, you know, if you're in that spot to do it with one person, you're probably going to do it with somebody else. You're not, if you're not seeking it out. And at the other time, you're not also, and probably the person that taught you and you learned, you're not like, well, I'm going to take this so I ruin my life and get an addiction. I'm going to teach this person to do this so something really bad happens to them. No, because that's not what you thought it was. That's not who you were. It was just a bad choice that you made that you weren't aware of that just kind of filtered through to more people. A lot of people got it that way. I don't think anyone's out there to take a drug to destroy their life.
Luckily, they're all still alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, at least I don't have to feel as guilty as I just because I care, and give a shit. So, 95 treatment comes in, I get better and better. I'm 11 years into my recovery, and I wound up breaking my neck. I believe it was October 18th, 2006. I don't want to get too much into the story, but I was heading out to New Jersey. I was in a very bad mood because I started separating myself from a lot of street characters in those 11 years. But one happened to have found me and would be calling me incessantly and driving me up a wall. And he really put me in a bad mood as I was on my way out to Jersey to work on a set list just to start doing live shows again. Because I took time off from the thing. The band fizzled out after the Olympics of like 2001, 2002. I was done. If I was going to go back to it, it was on my own terms and course. And while I'm out there, I got into it with a street rat. And I wound up getting the jump on him. And I stabbed him in his taint and he almost bled to death. So I got locked up and I was looking at a serious amount of time. We're looking at attempted murder, 7 to 12, on my way to Rahway in New Jersey.
That's a crazy spot to stab somebody too. I don't think I've ever heard of a stabbing like that.
All I wanted to do, I pulled out my X-Acto knife because it was two of them. They were bigger than me. I just wanted to get a jump, hit him in his ass. You know what I mean? Give him like a warning shot. Yeah. But, I wound up catching him right between the cheeks, up and in there. He jumped 5 feet off the floor into a huge flower pot. I got into my friend's car. We bounced, but someone got the license plate and the whole task force of the Newark train station came to the house, 13 cars,
wow,
coming after me like I'm Gas Pipe Casso or something, running in the Cajun crime family. And within about 30 hours when I was locked up, I was being taunted by one of the corrections officers when I finally got into what is their main jail in the county, Essex County. They call it Big Blue because it's one big blue jail, system and facility. I really started becoming more and more unglued. And at some point I snapped, ran the length of the fucking bullpen and put my head through a plexiglass partition. And at that time, I broke my C5 and C7 vertebrae. So of course I'm on the ground, I got a leg twitching, one of these black kids are going, yo, look at that nigga's neck bubble up. I knew things were bad. I knew things were bad at the moment. So they tied my hands and my legs down. They got me on a board in an ambulance. They got me to University Hospital in Newark. Took a while before they attended to me out of the ER and gave me something for my pain. And what they wound up doing was going through the front here. And it was a surgery where they harvested the two vertebrae that I needed now because I destroyed the two in my neck. They harvested them from a cadaver, transplanted them into me with a metal hinge behind my esophagus, along with 2 screws. And I was in what you call a halo. A halo is a steel halo ring where they take screws, they bore 2 into your forehead and 2 right behind your ears. And today, like if I had short hair buzz behind there, they look like little 22 caliber holes, probably what you would see as a scar. from somebody who survived like a mob hit or something. So it's like 4 screws into your skull, 2 posts in front, 2 posts in back, and this huge chest plate to screw in the posts so you stay rigid and your neck doesn't move. You basically feel like you're a person with a TV set on your head. Like that's what it felt like. You know what I mean? And even when I had to wear that for 3 months, I couldn't really put a shirt on, but I still found a way to cut it down the middle, baby pin it and put a big jacket and hood over me. I still went out, made my medical appointments and everything else. I kept fighting. And, I beat that too, you know, and,
What about doing drugs during that time? Like the temptation, because usually people that beat drugs and they get hurt, the first thing they do is they get on pain pills, and it usually helps them. They usually
that
fall
scared
back.
the shit out of me because, yeah, here I am in the hospital, right? After the surgery, because they did it that night, like they did the surgery within 12 hours, I assume. And I've got the morphine gun button. I could press for morphine every 5 minutes. And believe me, I did. I didn't abuse it, but I don't know if it's psychosomatically, but after being on the morphine for like 4 or 5 days, and then being on oxycodone when I got home for another 9, because I was in legitimate pain and I was off it for so long that I didn't feel withdrawal symptoms. It was the most twisted surprise for me ever. You know what I mean? Because I really expected that, okay, here we go. I'm on morphine for 5 days. Now I'm on oxys for another 9 to 10. That's 15 days over 2 weeks of being back on hard opiates. I got to go through this shit again. But I got pretty lucky with that.
Good.
And then, the neck issue was about 15 years ago. And now I've been introduced with a new challenge. I guess it's like being Muhammad Ali and having to step back into the ring and try to hold on to the belt.
Some really good things though. Since then, you've been clean. You started your podcast. You got a new version of the band together. You've had new singles out. You got a relationship. You got a great lady. You got some family. I mean, you've helped people with addictions.
I've always done that, especially over the last 12 years when people started.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
When somebody reaches out to you legitimately, you can't. I'm not the type that could just ignore that. And I've established some great relationships and friendships due to that bond. Because there are a lot of great people that succumb to this or succumb to addiction per se. You know what I mean? And they could be doing wonderful things if they could just get past that. You know what I mean? Like all the work you put into to try to maintain a daily heroin habit or oxy habit, you could be doing wonderful things in a job or career. You know what I mean? And people can't really find the two. Maybe it's just because of their own personal mental health that brings on a laziness or a lack of confidence. But there's something about addiction that makes a person drive and drive and drive and drive like the hamster on a wheel.
Right. I just think it's important that, like I said, you've been an advocate for helping people with addiction, and it's not like you've taken the time and, you're just telling one story after another today. You've done so many things to help out so many other people. And I think it's important. I want to say out loud because you won't pat yourself on the back. You've done a lot for a lot of people. And I think
I appreciate that.
I think it should be out there. I mean, just, and you've gone through so much stuff. You've done so many good things. And now, please share. I just want to preface how much you've done for people before you share what you're going through now.
Yeah. Well, 3 weeks ago, like I was saying, right around my partner Carol Lee's birthday, January 20th, I started enduring a lot of pain in my right side here, especially in the back. Now, when I broke my neck on the left side here in the back, I had a pinched nerve for like a couple of years. And this almost felt like the same thing. So we just assumed it was like a muscle pull. And after I endured that for 2 weeks, I came up here to do some work and do a session for an EP that I was supposed to sign on for. I started coughing up so much blood. I mean, I could have started The Exorcist, you know. So I had no choice but go to an ER, get the X-rays. They found a malignant mass on the right side and the top part of my lung. So here come the CAT scans, here come the MRIs, here comes what they call, I hope I get it right, like I said earlier, a bronchioloscopy, which is basically a camera put into the bronchial waves of your lungs to get an exact look of what the mass looks like, how big it is, and what's wrong with it. You know, how bad, you know, is it leaking that much blood? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? So I've been diagnosed with stage 3 adenocarcinoma. It's a very aggressive cancer. They're afraid that it may spread to my liver and brain. So after being in the hospital for a full week, and you know, I stopped coughing up blood for about 5-6 days straight. Actually, I haven't coughed up any blood since the biopsy on Monday. You know, I was able to get let out, and I've already started the scheduling for the chemotherapy process at the end of the month. I'm just going home for a week, kind of put some affairs in order. Had the GoFundMe going because I have no health care. You know, I'm more or less an itinerant musician, you know what I mean? Who's riding on his youthful legacy, you know, going out there, doing shows and recording once in a while, and to, you know, just keep the dream alive and do what I love doing, you know. But it's a lot to take in, and it's been quite a challenge to come to terms with it. But I've like you said, I've been through all this shit before. Night after night during drug addiction, I risked getting grabbed up and killed or shot, you know, going out into the Bronx or uptown, whether it be Spanish Harlem or regular West Side Harlem, by myself like a white boy, and going into the deeper depths of the Lower East Side to do my thing, because I was a very solitary ghost of an addict. I really didn't run around with people all that much. If I could do all those things, you know, I can definitely take this fight on and see how far I can take it. You know, uh, it's just a shame because I had the addiction of pain meds. It's not easy to be given a small dose of a pain med and have it actually work for me right now. So I'm trying to adjust to all of that, and it hasn't been easy. I haven't been sleeping well. It's been quite a challenge. But you know, the treatment's going to start in a couple of weeks. The doctors feel very confident with this, and I don't feel like I'm being bullshitted. I can kind of tell when I'm being bullshitted. They can't really promise me much time right now, but you know, I know I'm going to have, you know, 3, 5, 7, 10 more years, provided I take the treatment, provided I improve my diet and not just eat anything thinking, you know, I can anymore. Uh, I've definitely, you know, have put a stop on the smoking. The cravings are hard as fuck. I mean, I've been dreaming about it. I kind of calling this weekend my bachelor party because, you know, as I'm trying to stop, I have had like one cigarette each day and one joint, you know, but it's like I literally try to smoke the cigarette, take 2 drags, put it out, 2 drags, put it out. I'm not going to lie and sit here and say I quit smoking. Yes, I did not smoke for almost 8 days while I was in the hospital. Then I came back out. It's kind of like my way of saying goodbye to it, but it's good because it already tastes like shit to me. So it's like, I know that this is all over. You know what I mean? So, you know, I know come Monday, once I get home, I'll be in a better place. I'll start going back to the patch. And, because when you use those things, Nicorette gum and the patches, like people who vape, you don't realize you're building your nicotine habit and appetite. And that essentially means you're also building your cigarette habit. You know what I mean? So I've really brought my whole nicotine level down to a very low point that it must have been since I was a kid right now. And it's going to make it that much easier to put it all behind me after I get on the bus tomorrow.
I
Because
know
I
you can
got
do
it.
it.
And, I
If
love
you can beat
weed,
opiates, if you can beat opiates, you can beat that.
and, I love my weed. I do believe its medicinal qualities, but I don't have to smoke it. I don't have to smoke it. I can make a tincture. You know what I mean? I know how to make canna butter. You know what I mean? I know how to cook with it. I don't have to fucking smoke it and still get benefits to help me endure the chemotherapy and keep my appetite.
Is smoking it bad right now? Like, is the smoking part of weed bad for you right now?
I've smoked a pack a day pretty much for 40
No,
years.
no. I mean weed, not cigarettes, but weed. Would smoking weed right now be bad for it? I don't really
I
know.
think anything in your lungs would be bad for it, whether you're smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, or vaping and coating the insides of your lungs with a fucking, popcorn oil. All the shit is bad. Like for me, if I really want to beat this, you know, I'm saying goodbye to it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm marrying into a new healthy lifestyle. I have no choice. If I want to live, if I want that love and gift of life for as long as possible, well, then I have to marry into the faith. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just like, the plans that I had to marry Carol Lee and be a stepfather to her kids and to be a mentor and peer to them. I have to commit lock, stock, and fucking barrel. There's just no way to half-ass it. So that's what the last 72 hours have been since I've been, discharged, is just coming to terms and preparing to line up for battle.
It's gotta be hard. I mean, you got to emotionally adjust to it, and then of course you've got a girlfriend and kids. You know, not yours, but you know what I'm saying, that
And
you have
it's
to
hard to
face
talk
and
to 'em.
talk to. And, I mean, yeah, you have to talk to them. They're gonna have to see you. So you're gonna have to shoulder that difference too. I mean,
Well, I know she's doing it with me because she needs to, for her own sake. I don't want to see her go through this. You know,
mhm.
um, her oldest, her boy, hates smoking, and he's going to be happy to see these changes and everything else. And we just, you can't. They're not old enough to understand what's going on right now.
Mhm.
But as long as they're seeing positive changes, you know, that's really the bottom line to all of this. And this is also why, not just because I need the support of others, but this is where I am now, where I'm more determined to help and provide with information and tell people about my struggle so they don't have to go through it themselves. You know what I mean? Like when I'm in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska, and I got a 24-year-old kid coming up to me, thanking me and telling me how my words in the music that I've been a part of have helped him through his addiction with crystal meth. That's where the reward is for me now, is in those places. It's not just, getting applause after I do a fucking song.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like this is where I've been at. This is why podcasts are important to me. The whole conversation, stimulating, uh, informative, and it shows people that I actually have an intellect. I'm not just some, Guinea street kid that made a bunch of wild, you know, moves in his life and did a bunch of crazy things to establish some fucking legend that you assume I am. This is the best way for people to see exactly who I am, you know, warts and all,
Yeah,
you
I think
know.
it's important. I think it's important. I think a lot of people need to see what it's like. You know,
Either that, life's gonna, their life vehicle is going to hit the wall at some point, like it's hitting the wall for me right now. Again, you know what I mean? Like, think about all my challenges of like
yeah,
fucking car accidents, getting, DUI, hitting a tree or a wall. This is the third time I'm running into a fucking wall. You know, like, damn, Eddie, you can figure it out one day. So,
So
I
the
get,
important thing is, I'm sorry, you don't have insurance, so and we're gonna you're
no,
doing
but
work for me.
I'm gonna get all that work done. Obviously, because I haven't toured, I haven't done much. I'll be able to get some help with Medicaid. But there's a lot of things that come with this treatment that are not going to be paid for through, state or federal, healthcare for paupers. You know, and plus, I just spent 7 nights in a hospital. A hospital bed is more expensive than spending a night in the Ritz-Carlton or the Plaza, depending on where you are. The hospital bed, the overnight is somewhere between 3, 8, maybe even 10 grand a night. Just healthcare costs are rape. That's why a lot of people, after they retire, they lose a lot of their nest egg
Mhm.
due to their health issues. So, it's better to start improving on your lifestyle, your diet, and means to to stop wearing yourself down, because it's going to get expensive. You know, uh, do I want to be in my 80s on a bunch of medications? You know, feeling decrepit and having all those expenses and worries? No, no. But I'm still 25 years plus away from that. There's still a lot of time left for me.
Mhm.
And I'm not weak. You know what I mean? I might be hurting. I might be sick. I might have the shortness of breath and pain, but I'm still virile. You know what I mean? I still want to work. I still want to do things. You know what I mean? Which is the most important thing, because if I'm not being occupied, I'm gonna dwell on this shit, and
Yeah.
I'll end up like with a daily 1,000-yard stare, looking into, you know, grim future where I could be being proactive and have a future instead of just looking at grim what ifs, if you know what I mean.
I do. So we'll put we're gonna put the GoFundMe will be up under here, and so people support it, please. What? So obviously you're not doing you're taking a break from everything because you need to take a rest. It's very important. But you also, on some level, you want to be busy.
I want to
What
do
are you
the
gonna?
podcast. The podcast is important to keep going. I've got a new collaborator that I'm actually trying to write music with, not only just for the Leeway NYC
Mhm.
brand, but, I've wanted to do 70s songs that I grew up madly in love with and arrange them into the rock style that, hardcore brought, with the very chunky guitars, big bass, big drums, and whatever other instruments needed to add to that. You know, um, there's a bucket list. There's a bucket list, and there has been a bucket list before this diagnosis. You know what I mean? So there is a lot that I wanted to do. as far as collating all the writings to get my autobiography up and rolling. There's a lot of things that I need to get done because I'm not done here, you know. So time is of the essence.
I think a book would be good. I think that
Yeah.
would be. I think a lot of people could learn from it too. I think it would help you. It would help. I think it'd be
Well, with
positive
the
on a lot of
stories
levels.
and everything else, I think having also a timeline within it where I'm going through the treatment, my thoughts and experiences, and then, kind of doing that, what was it, Wayne's World? Doodle-doo,
Yeah.
doodle-doo, and then going back in time, talking about tour moments and experiences, you know, uh, that is very important to me. That also is very important to me. There's so many other things that I want to get done and do aside from getting up and being able to have the wind and strength to perform again and release more music. All of those things are still just as important. You know, no matter how grim this diagnosis is, like I said, gotta just gotta keep going. You know, I never saw the movie The Bucket List. I just know the expression.
Yeah. I don't know. Me either.
I don't
I don't
know
like.
if Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman were dying in the movie, and they just wanted to make sure they did all these things before they, kicked the bucket. But these are the things that I've been talking about doing for a while, and a lot of the things that I was about to do last year at this time had to be put on hold within a month because of this damn pandemic. You know that kind of screwed everything up, and put everything on hold, and put everything in the stops. I got to hang out with you today. I'm at the Sound Wars studio and Cyclorama Soundstage that I get to work out of when I'm up north, which is owned by Laz Pina um, of El Nino, a friend of mine for almost 35 years now. And tomorrow I head home from here for a little R&R before I have to come back up here and start the fight because
How
the
much
king.
chemo is there? How much do you have to do?
They're talking twice a week for 6 to 8 weeks. And I think the treatment is going to be like every 2 weeks. So we'll probably do, I don't know if we're going to be doing it straightforward twice a week for 6 to 8 weeks, maybe do 1 week, a week off, do another week, a week off. I'll find out. But before I even have to get in there, they have to put like a tube here
Hmm.
coming out of my chest so they can put the chemo in and directly attack the mass that is in my lung. You know what I mean? And then now we're going to have to monitor the rest of my body to make sure that this carcinoma isn't spreading, and we're at the midway point. We're at stage 3. We could go to stage 4, you know, anytime soon. So there's really no time to waste. I got to get the fuck to work. I have to get on this, you know.
Are you going to be staying in New York while this treatment's going on, or are you going to be able to go back and forth?
It's got to be back and forth. And Carol Lee will be with me at times too because she wants to be. She's just got such an incredible heart. She's such a ride or die woman in my life. I couldn't be blessed with a better partner. And we're putting it all together. We're simply putting it all together right now. So once I get home in 36 hours more or less, we have a plan of attack, and we're going to just plainly take it on and beat this. You know, I'd be happy with another decade of my life. I don't know if I want to feel old and decrepit, but I'm not ready to give up. I'm not ready to go. You know what I'm saying? You know, but maybe it's a good thing that I've had this wake up call, that it could give me a whole new outlet in life that I can inspire even more people than I've ever been blessed to inspire. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
give guidance or knowledge and information to people that I would have never touched before if I didn't hit this, brick wall again, you know.
Well, the fact you got is that you found it quickly from that pain, instead of just finding out all of a sudden you have it and being
Yeah,
stage
well,
4.
the pain, I'm just like, I don't want to go to the hospital. I can't afford it, you know. But then once I started coughing up the blood, I thought of my 85-year-old grandfather on my mom's side who was an alcoholic. And I also thought of Jack Kerouac and Jack Kerouac's dad. Um, Not that I am a heavy drinker alcoholic, but people that are dealing with inside issues and are starting to have blood build up in places, the veins that tend to pop first are the esophageal veins. They're like the weakest in the whole body. So when they burst, which happened because of this mass, you start coughing up or even vomiting significant amounts of blood. I wasn't pissing blood, I wasn't crapping blood, but I was coughing up a severe amount of blood, like a pint in 48 hours. The bronchioloscopy, almost 6 ounces. They had to keep me under for 24 hours after the biopsy because I was bleeding so much. That was another story because the biopsy was set for 9 a.m. Monday morning. When I woke up, I was intubated and they strapped my hands down because most people who are intubated, which is what most COVID patients are going through right now in ICU, it's life support. They wake up and they feel like they're choking from the intubation and they can't talk because they can't touch their lips. There's no way to pronounce things. So all you're doing is going like, and your air is coming out, no words or even sound. And you're tied down because if you're not tied down, most people just go and rip their whole shit up inside. So I woke up at 8:29 and I thought it was 8:29 Monday night. No, it was 8:29 Monday morning. I was basically out for 24 hours. They kept me asleep due to the severity of the bleeding. And that's just a way of telling me how serious all this is. And it's time to get at it. There's just no other fucking way, man.
Well, I'm pulling for you. I know everyone else is going to be pulling for you.
I
I
know.
want to thank you for sharing this today, man. I know it's a big thing, and it's important people get the word out. To be aware of themselves, and help you if they can help you. It's important. You're a
I
good
know
guy,
there's
and
people out there that are a little bit older than me that have already been through this. There's a lot of other people that maybe experience this with their grandparents or their parents. But I also know there's a lot of dudes that are a little younger than me that came up in the scene after me that are doing the same things that I did. And they're assuming like because they didn't have a drug addiction, uh, monkey on their back like I did, that maybe they're not as sick or unhealthy on the inside. But this type of shit is coming for everybody. You know what I mean? In some form or another. We all know, even if you're not a smoker or a drinker, what have you, cancer is one of the biggest killers in the world globally. You know what I mean? Not just COVID, or and there's other challenges out of life that people end up dying for. But this is serious. This is something that pretty much every other person on the planet could go through at some point in their lives. You know what I mean? So, being informed, establishing a plan of attack, and fighting for it, what you want is what you got to do. There's just no way to fucking lay down, man. There's just no way. That's too easy. It's just too easy for me. I can't do
well,
that.
you just gotta take it easy though too. At some point, I mean, I'll check in with
Of
you and
course.
I'll share with people how you're doing. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be concerned.
Yeah, and we could talk about music more than next time around and everything. We
That's
will
fine.
get into like just the outer story of my life,
That's fine.
other than
It,
music.
just talking to you is good. It's not about I just no
I
real goals.
enjoy
Just
that
it's
too for
important.
my own content, but I agree with you. I agree.
I'm just I'm the show's about conversations, about real conversations with people that are have music as a theme, but you know, this is life. This is important, and this is how life is.
There are
So,
humans behind those faces on the record or CD.
mhm.
We're all human. And no matter how godly you think this one or that one may be, you know what I mean? They're still human at the end of the day. And they're all flawed.